YouTube was quick to set up this time. And we are live. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Factorio. So let's click resume. Now, when we last left off, we had, if I remember correctly, just finished off this guy, which is making quantum processors. And we're getting like one every 4 seconds. Now, our ultimate goal with those is to make fusion reactors. Now, if we need 250 processors to make one of these, and this makes 0.23 per second, that means it is, what, 1,000 seconds to get one, which is a fair amount of time. Certainly could stand to be faster, but it's fine. We're not really in a huge rush, because we have other things to do, like this tungsten ore deposit on Vulcanus, which is almost completely gone. So, we need to get set up for that. So we have already a Spidertron in the transport platform, ready to head over. Now the question is, does Vulcanus have equipment for a giant turret box type thing? So let's just try to place this and see what happens. Okay, so the answer is that it does mostly have the resources to build this. And let's just watch that all actually get built so that we can confirm. Yeah, okay, and that's why we did that. We are a couple turrets short. Now, I'm sure somewhere in here we have the capacity to make turrets. Iron plates, copper plates, and gear wheels. So, do we have... How set up was the logistics network for this? We have steel plates in a box. Do we have iron plates in a box? Yes, we do. So that's good. Copper plates. Did those get boxed anywhere? No, but they easily could. So let's just set up this. And that should be all good. And then gear wheels. So our gear wheel production is up here. So let's get those into a box as well. And that is already within range of power. Alright, so now that we have all that, we can set up a chest system for this. And I think we also need to bring drone coverage out to this general area, so we can bring that down to there. And then get it connected up like so. So this is going to be requesting iron plates, copper plates, and iron gear wheels. Then this is going to be making our gun turrets. And then the other thing which we need is we need a supply of a large amount of ammo. So do we have... No, we have no firearm magazines. Do we have piercing round magazines? No. So we need to make those as well. And that is iron plates, copper plates, steel plates. So, let's see. I guess we can just expand that out next to this one. So you are going to be firearm magazines. And so you get iron plates. And then you are going to output them forwards. And then we make our piercing round magazines, which are copper plates and steel plates. And that gets set up. And then outputs. And we get a power line in, and now this whole thing should theoretically make piercing rounds. Now, you are output full because you're not running fast enough, so let's get that one going faster. This one we can limit a little bit. This one we can just sort of leave as is. So we can get a huge amount of the stuff. Alright, so that is all set up. Now our Spidertron here. I'm pretty sure that Spidertron doesn't have stuff in its equipment grid. So let's send it back down to Novice and get a Spidertron set up with actual equipment. So, Spidertron gets built somewhere in this area. And okay, can we get over to our personal Spidertron up on Aquilo and see? You are mostly set up for like utility and movement and stuff, but it's at least a good start. So let's copy that, paste that. So you are getting all built, and you have a single portable fission reactor as your only power source, which, let's see, let's get, now that's going to do nothing for where we're sending you to, so let's instead just fill that space with portable solar panels, which will be especially useful on Vulcanus. Okay, so now this Spidertron is just all set up. So now we dismantle you, go up to transport platform, and request a Spidertron, and hopefully it'll be that one. So that should get all set up and let us do our thing. We've got you. No, it's launching some rain. There's got to be some way of controlling which Spidertron specifically you launch. There's got to be some way of doing that, right? I don't know, is there like any settings in here? I mean, if it were higher quality we could do that, but it certainly isn't. So you go back down. Okay, maybe if we set a requester chest here, which requests 2 or 3 Spidertrons, then maybe this will get it controlled. Although now this is just going to be filled with all of our Spidertrons. No, we don't want that. So did this get done correctly? Yes, it has a full equipment grid. Cool. So now you can head over to Vulcanus. And how's our ammo supply going? It's going pretty well. So the next thing we need to do is we need to get this set up in a way that it gets filled properly. So instead of this being a steel chest here, what we need to do is like run a belt from somewhere relatively stable. I mean, this is just across the boundary, right? So if we just set up a box down here, fill it with stuff, then we can send it across. So let's start getting these drone ports built in. It's going to take a while, of course, but we can at least get the first couple while the transport platform is still on the way. So that goes there, and power line continues across. There we go. So we just need to get this down somewhere in this area so that it can then start loading us up. It's going to be a bit of a journey, so we want this to happen as quickly as possible to get all the stuff down there in time. And by the way, how is power on Vulcanus exactly? It's solar powered, and we have a good amount of breathing room. Although not a massive amount. So that is fine. So we just keep on bringing this down, step by step. There we go. That's another batch getting built. And that's that in. Now we need to sort of maneuver around this lava here. Like that. And at this point we're just about close enough. And this is by far the best, right? It's got the most tungsten of the nodes relatively close to us, and it's right on the edge, so we won't have to belt it as far. Transport platform is still on its way. So that can go all the way down to there. And then power lines go. And that is the border. So we're basically there now. And so we are going to be setting up a box here to accept piercing round magazines and a whole bunch of them. Once all the rest of this stuff gets brought in. And then that will be outputting them onto a belt. So just something like that, and then we will be getting the Spidertron in to do most of the heavy lifting on this. Alright, so now all of that stuff is in. So we need to start moving the piercing rounds over this way, which is probably going to be a difficult task for our logistics bots. So yeah, we've got like 200 logistics bots in the air doing this. Some of them are up there doing all this stuff, but a decent chunk of them are bringing all this stuff down. Okay, so that is at least a start. It's not incredible, but that's some of the ammunition brought down. And the transport platform is almost here. So let's go up to this and dismantle all of that so that we can reclaim those pieces. Because this is probably going to take a whole lot of ammunition to accomplish. And there we go. That's all good. So yeah, just let the ammo cook for a little bit. It will get there eventually. Transport platform is here. Let's drop the Spidertron down. So the Spidertron should be brought down, and then we're going to be building it. So that can just go wherever. And once that Spidertron lands, it should get built. Where even is the hub? It's up here, apparently. And, alright, Spidertron has been built. So now you need... What do you need? You need all the bits to build the thing that we're trying to build. So you get a whole bunch of those. You get a whole bunch of belts. And I don't know what type of inserter. Actually, I need to figure that out. What type of inserter does this use? Mostly fast inserters, with a couple randomly being bulk inserters. And it also has some splitters and some power poles. Alright, so you need bulk inserters, fast inserters, splitters, and medium electrical poles. And our supply of express transport belts, apparently not great. Where are those? Oh, I see. Those just go directly into that. Alright, I still do want some of these, I think. Just like as an option for us. We don't need to store too many, but just enough that when we want to build slower things, we don't have to go all the way up to these. There we go, and that is prioritized sort of after this, so that should be fine. Alright, so Spidertron should be mostly set up and ready to go now. Although, how much does this take? Only 58 belts, and sort of trivial amounts of most of the other things. Alright, I have to select you first. Get you on the remote, and then bring you down. So, you're just gonna go over this way. And make your way down. Let's see if you can make your way across this lava successfully. You seem a bit slower. Don't you have two... You have two leg things in you, right? And you have power? Alright. You are able to maneuver over the lava. Barely. Okay. So, now we need you to start building all of this stuff. And what is your drone port range? Oh, this wound up somehow being the wrong Spidertron anyways. Wonderful. Just what we needed. How did we get the wrong Spidertron after all that? That's incredibly annoying. Is this stuff, like, also gonna get brought down, or... It says that nothing is missing. Did it, like, get brought down in pieces? Yeah, that's what happened. Okay. So we want the Spidertron to go back up just to fill itself up with equipment. Because apparently all that stuff did get brought. So if we check in here in all these boxes, is any of this stuff? No, it's definitely not. Alright. So I think I might have confused myself like a bunch of times in a row. Although no, now you have all the equipment except the solar panels. What is going on? How are the solar panels not here then? Oh, because I copy pasted it from a different thing. That's how. Alright, so let's give you the solar panels then. And how do I tell like what your power situation is? The batteries have nothing. The shield has stuff. The roboports are almost filled up. So that should be fine then. You should now be all set up and ready to go. And yeah, now you're moving a lot faster as I expected you to. So you can run down this way and then start the building. So all we need is we need to go this way, which there is a kind of annoying chunk of lava in the way, but should be fine. Yeah, so we don't have the foundations at all. And apparently underground belts don't work across lava. I guess I've just never tried that before, but it's fine. We can just do this. Alright. Spidertron. You've got all this stuff, but you're not using it. And why is that? I've hit the wrong button. Hitting the wrong button. Classic. Enable logistics while moving. Yes. You have all the stuff you need in there. Okay, I just heard a sound. That's this guy. We're not in his range, right? I sure hope not. Spidertron is going to run back just in case. I don't like that guy being right there. Because it might wind up with some... This guy might wind up getting involved in the situation if he's too close when we start shooting. So we're just gonna hope that that isn't a thing. Alright. So he's heading away. That's fine. Spidertron can get back down to here. Oh, I know what happened. You don't have any bots. That's why you're not doing anything. Duh. Alright, so you just need like 50 construction bots. And apparently there are none spare. So if we just remove some of those from that, Aquilo support 2 is running out of ammo. And okay. Okay, so this guy just decided to show up despite the fact... Oh, that is the boundary, apparently. I didn't realize that's where the boundary was. Also, Aquilo Support 2 is also exploding. Why? What has caused this? So we have not enough regular ammo, it looks like. We have plenty of rockets, but not enough of anything else. Alright, you need to slow down. That's very, very bad. That's very bad indeed. Now, how do we even fix this? Because like all this stuff that we've lost is out here. we can't even reconnect our supplies in. So what happened? What happened to this? We don't have any fluid ingredients. We don't have any iron ore. Oh, this got stuck because this got output blocked. Okay, that's not good. That's not good at all. So this is supposed to be input priority left. But this entire left half isn't running at all. Okay, so you need to be just... Oh, now we can't do that because that area is destroyed, so we're just screwed, basically. Okay, well that's not good. That's not good at all. We need to make sure that that doesn't happen for any of the other ones. So you pause over novice. That's a safe spot for you to be. And okay, more crazy stuff is happening. Okay, we need to just get rid of that robot port so we stop auto building these things. And we also need to move our Spidertron out of the way before he gets blown up. Okay, so yeah, we were just a little bit too close there. And then Aquilo Quantum Support is going to also need to do an emergency stop. Probably not urgently, but we need to make sure that this remains clear. We need to just clear out some space on that. Aquilo Support 2 is still mostly non-functional. And I don't know how to fix it because we don't have the belts. But if we can limp into Aquilo, then at least the belts should be repairable from there. But this whole corner is going to be defenseless, and there's not that much that we can do about it there. So I guess we need to craft some gun turrets, basically. So, gun turrets, iron plates, copper plates, gear wheels. We have iron and copper plates here, right? We got those in for crafting. So iron plates, check. Copper plates, check. Okay, so we can craft up a bunch of those. The rocket turrets that we lost are unfortunately just irreplaceable, I think. Alright, so that... I mean, it'll at least help. Hopefully the rocket turrets have enough coverage range to fix things. Entities are missing repair packs on Vulcanus. That's weird, but whatever. Okay, and you wound up getting your construction bots destroyed trying to repair this stuff. Because of course you did. Alright. I do love it when 5 things go wrong simultaneously and prevent you from figuring out what you need to do to fix them. So let's get some more construction bots available for this. And hopefully get them to do something. So we need the Spidertron to get its construction bots back, which means there's still none to spare. So we can move some of those out, and hopefully that should send them into the Spidertron. Yes, so that is an option. And where do you think there's going to be a whole bunch of construction bots? Back here. There, we can clear some out of that one. And so now the Spidertron should be getting restocked on its construction bots. It's got 47 out of 50. That's good enough. And I don't think we have repair packs here. I don't think we necessarily need them. Alright, so now we head back down. And okay, it looks like, yeah, let's just be a bit cautious in terms of the space. So we're going to pick all that stuff up. And we're going to get this drone port just like able to supply this requester chest and nothing else. In my head, I was thinking the zone started like on top of the tungsten ore, but it actually starts back here-ish by this lava patch. Alright, so that is all good. Now, you have all the equipment you need. So, let's get this set up and hopefully get it built nice and quick. So the Spidertron goes forwards. It runs the belt along. It runs that belt in. Then it runs the power pole across and forwards. And then we get this in there. And as much of that. There we go. So that's all built up. And the ammunition is going through, but we're going to need a lot more. Okay, and then we just move the Spidertron back out of the way. And hope that this doesn't backfire catastrophically. It is entirely possible that the Demolisher will like chase us down and try to just like destroy this whole line of power lines. We're pretty far away, so hopefully it won't make it all the way back, but it is technically a thing which could maybe happen. I don't know. Alright, so the ammunition, the guns are now all stocked, and more ammunition is continuing to fill through to backfill them. So now we just have to wait and get a radar down in the area, probably. Okay, we don't have radars. Understandable. Have a nice day. So in that case, we are going to move the Spidertron forwards to see if we can spot this guy coming. Okay, yeah, Aquilo Support 2 is still having issues. Okay. Can I see the Demolisher? No, I can't. So you're here. We need space platform foundations in order to make our repairs. Okay, we might be able to salvage those through just like excess space here. If we just take all this stuff down. So we take all that down. Alright, we had spare rocket turrets already. Now, we're short express transport belts, but those can get sent back up. We still need a couple more foundations, so we can scrap some of these solar panels. We don't need those. Alright, so that is all up. Now we just need the transport belts and the repairs should be fixed. Okay, now back down to Vulcanus. Still no signs of the Demolisher. Okay. Okay, so this has been repaired. Crisis averted. We should be mostly stable now until we figure out how to keep this going. Now, okay, so this was set at 150. If we just set this down to, like, a much smaller number, so that we're constantly filtering out the most common object. Okay. Still no Demolisher in sight. Can I just, like, have this Spidertron run around and try to find this guy? Where is he? Is he up here? Okay, we can't super easily even access that area because of the lava. We can sneak around, though. So he should be, like, heading over here. Okay, I hear sound effects. Yeah, okay, there he is. Demolisher spotted. And he is making a beeline towards our turret box. And you're another small one, right? Yes, you are. Okay, so now the Spidertron can run down just to observe the area. The range on these guys is very short, but they do a lot of damage and shoot very fast. And there are a lot of them. So hopefully that is going to be good. That steel chest doesn't need to be there. That was back when we were feeding it manually. Alright, we're about to hit. And impact. Oh, it's closed, it's closed. There we go, we got it. Alright, that was a bit scary, but mission success. Alright, another small Demolisher defeated. Now we have a nice big tungsten patch. I'm just going to have this guy... run out here to get rid of that terrifying little blip on the radar. Alright, so that is cleared out. And then... this guy is so close. Like, we're right on the border of this other setup. We might want to just head down there and wipe out that guy too while we're at it. Okay, so now you get... We should probably just get repair packs in here. So you get repair packs requested, and then we're going to get to find out if we actually have any of those. So you are back here. No repair packs, so let's just craft those up. Which should be easy, right? Just go in here somewhere. Iron gear wheels, electronic circuits. I don't like the electronic circuit demand, but it's what it's gotta be. Gear wheels, electronic circuits. You get to output 2 repair packs. And that should get us going. So green circuits. We're apparently going to need more green circuit in the dimensional depot. So this is one place where they get produced. This is another one. Let's just get that set up. I've managed to build it just barely out of range of power again. Alright, so that... Only store a couple, but should be fine. Okay, so now this is getting repair packs delivered. So we can head back down here, get all these things repaired, and then pick them up and move them to wipe out this other demolisher. Although the amount of repair packs we have is still quite low. It's just so that we don't have all sorts of like different stacks with different numbers of things on them. So we deconstruct all of this and load it all back up. So there we go. Now let's get this set up to have just a couple extras because we were a bit sketchy on that front. And then we just need to get this set up. So this belt goes down a bunch. And oh, we don't have cliff explosives down here on the Spidertron. I don't want to go all the way back up to grab them. So we go all the way down here, and that does mean we need to find an open space for this. And then this gets built in like there. And then we need you to... Oh, we don't have enough of all sorts of things. Alright, so we need to run that power line back so that this can all get connected up safely. And hopefully our demolisher friend just takes a little bit of time to get here. And yikes, this is kind of sketch. Because now we have fewer gun turrets as well because of this. We had a decent amount of cushion last time, so maybe it'll be fine. Oh, but no, that entire row is messed up. Okay, that's bad. That's very bad. We need more. So we need to dismantle this whole thing, I think. And pick it all up and retreat, and then grab cliff explosives, because we are definitely going to need those in this region. Alright, then dismantle those, which are too close, and now hopefully the guy will leave us alone while we just get loaded up on cliff explosives. So we go into here and just send us down, like, no need to be stingy, just send us down like 40 of them. Okay, so back on this. Right, so the fix we had invented was that this needs to be a lower number, like 80. And so did this one. And with that being set up, I believe we are probably all clear now. So you can get moving again. And you are restocked, it looks like. So you can also get moving again. And you were always fine. So that's all good. Alright. Space platform crisis resolved. This now has the cliff explosives so that we can do what we need to do. So now we head back down. And step one is clear out this entire area. Get some of those guys out as well, just in case. Then So this is properly within its region, and I clicked it wrong. I need to hold down that button. And then that belt connects down. The power lines connect across. And now we get the whole thing built in. And then the Spidertron can get sort of, I guess, time to start scouting again. Where is the guy? Where is the... Okay, is that him down here? Yes, this is him down here. And it's another small demolisher. And he doesn't seem to have noticed yet. He does not seem... He's not heading directly for our setup yet. So we should be fine. Okay, that's just giving us a random warning for no reason. Okay, so that is all good. And this should deal with him. I guess keep the Spidertron around him just to spy on him. It's good to know that Spidertrons can just hang out by the demolishers and they don't care at all. Okay, so once this guy is cleared out, we'll have plenty of open room around our tungsten deposit, and then we can start getting it built. I just don't want some weird thing to happen where this guy, like, goes on a rampage through that region. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. We're in his zone, right? We're definitely in his zone. Why does he not care? I guess we'll just have to wait a little bit for that. So yeah, that... Okay, wait. Did I just see some crazy animation happen? No, that's just weird pixels on the map view. He's still just heading out this way. I don't know why he's doing that. And the Spidertron is able to make it across that. Alright, now he's coming in. He's going in for the kill. And... You know what, can I just, like... No. Wait. Paste. Alright, let's just get more of these pasted in, just to make sure, absolutely 100% certain that nothing crazy happens. So now we should certainly have enough. Except we don't have enough inserters to load most of these new ones. So that's a bit awkward. Alright, Spidertron goes back. It shouldn't matter that much. Alright, so Spidertron can now get restocked on whatever. How does it have all these... How did it get all these things without them being in its logistics requests? It doesn't make much sense. Alright. Well, if you're not going to be able to be restocked super easily, then you can just head back down. And I guess we will reset your logistics requests. So you get some of those, you get some of those, and here we go. So it's coming in from the side this time, which seems to have been marginally more destructive, although he didn't actually make it into the lines this time. So yeah, no problem at all with either of those. So now we just get all this stuff torn back down. And now we can just get the big mining drills in and have our brand new supply of tungsten. Alright, so all that stuff is down and we're all good. Just have to wait for all of them to load back into the Spidertron, which seems to be taking a little bit of time. Alright, so that is that. Now we just need to dismantle all of this stuff, which was purely for fighting the demolishers. So all that goes down, and then it's time to start building in. So we need big mining drills. Actually, can we just copy paste them from over here? So we just copy that, paste it over here, and that gets us basically completely done. Although let's flip it horizontally. And let's see here. We need, in order to cover this entire thing, we could use a bit more space. So if we just do something like this, that should cover the entire zone. Although I don't know if the belts will all line up properly, but it should be fine. Okay, so now we just need to... I'm sort of designing this all preemptively because we don't have much space with this lava. So we need to do some kind of convoluted path to get it out of there. And then back up. Alright, so now we know how much space all that's going to take. Next step is the power lines, which just have to cross over like that. And then finally the drones, which we need to get around the lava, so into there. And then just like... Actually, that might already be enough. No, this power line doesn't work. So we need that power line to go around like that so that we don't wind up in the lava. And a whole bunch of this stuff down here is not going to get built properly because of foundation shortage, but that should be fine. So you... Okay, we do actually need another drone port, like, out this way or something. And we also need all of the power lines to connect up. So that is all good. Now this can get constructed. Just bit by bit. So that's all going in. And let's check this. How are you doing? You have got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 750 quantum processors. That's pretty good. Okay, let's make sure to control this so we don't get completely clogged on them. So you are going to be enable disable on quantum processors. There's going to be in here somewhere. Yes, quantum processors less than, I don't know, 1,000, maybe 3,000. I mean, we want a lot of these, right? We just don't want to completely clog up the entire platform storage with them, but we do want a good chunk of them. Okay, so yeah, this one is going now. No problems there. And we're now keeping the amount of stuff on the belts under control better, which is certainly good. Likewise with you. So none of them are individually over 80, which means the whole thing can't be over 240 in this section, which hopefully is enough space. It looks like enough space at least. So yeah, that should be fine. And that is getting all of that. And over on Vulcanus, this has mostly been built except for the parts which can't be. So now we just have to get the belt all the way up. So this is the belt there, which we want to be connecting to. And this is where trains would be nice. And probably going to want to set up trains at some point on Vulcanus. For now, we're just running comedically long belts. And weird stuff like that keeps happening. Okay, so then this needs to get all the way up to there. It's pretty far. This definitely should be a job for trains. It should be a job for trains, and we're sort of making things a whole lot more complicated for ourselves by using belts. And we're gonna run out of belts now. But that's fine. We'll just keep on building them until we get enough. And then this finally just goes and merges up into that. And you can even be input priority left just to take all these guys out first, because there is still some of them. So now we are 90 some belts short and a bunch of foundations short of finishing this. So let's try to cancel all of that. So now we just get rid of all this foundation that we don't need. And we just keep going like that for all of these. And that one only had one tiny little corner that it needed. So then all of this gets canceled, and this is just to get rid of the alarms. Okay, so now the only thing we need are the belts. Those are actively getting built. Oh, and we apparently need to connect some of these power lines up better. Like that. And that should have us all cleared. Alright, and there's one belt in here which took some damage. So let's have the Spidertron go there and fix it. And that alert should disappear soon, right? Yes, okay, the alert is gone. Very good. And it looks like this whole giant belt eventually got finished. And we're all good now. So that, once this breaks down and stops providing stuff, which isn't going to be too far. This was at 90k a while ago, now it's down to 88k. Then we'll have this whole giant supply, which should last us a really long time. So that's all good. Let's see, coal supply is also looking solid. Okay, we do not need massive reserves like that. And then this, we just need like a stack of them. So what is up with our electronic circuits? Oh, this isn't in drone range. Got it. Let's put a drone port in there just to cover that gap. And get those repair packs built up faster. So there we go. Power here on Vulcanus, still looking good. Okay. And is... Okay, so this is the solar grid up here that we're working with. It's pretty big. Pretty big. Okay, yep. All the spammers are advertising a wide variety of different links, so I can't just block the one link anymore. That's annoying. They've evolved their techniques. Okay. So that is all good. We're no longer in any meaningful danger of running out of tungsten, which means that this should be solid for the foreseeable future. 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. Now we're up to 850. So that's definitely a good number. So now we need to figure out what else we need for these. Just just tungsten plates and superconductors, but they can only be crafted on Aquilo. Sure. Why not? Alright, so we need some of you. You are picking up the tungsten carbide. No, you aren't? Why do you... Oh, you're the one who brings the science back, right? You are just manual. Alright, so Aquilo support is manual. Aquilo quantum support does all this stuff. Okay, let's grab tungsten plates as another list of things you're going to get from Vulcanus. And then we can go to Aquilo and request some tungsten plates. Like so. And you also will then need to request some superconductors and the quantum processors. So let's... All those requests are now in, so all that stuff should get dropped down to Aquilo. And then once it's here, it should be relatively straightforward, right? Unless this gets made in some weird machine. Okay, yes, it only gets made in cryogenic plants. Alright, so we need to take a cryogenic plant. Do I have any of those? I've got 2. And we just need to pop you down wherever, get all this stuff built up, and then you get a... Actually, where's this? This should be easier if we do the requesters in from this side, I think. So we get you in, we get a bulk inserter. You are going to be making fusion reactors, which requires tungsten plates, quantum processors, and superconductors. Okay. Then we connect the heat pipe in. And that will start doing its thing. Then the fusion generators is the same recipe but cheaper. And also only in a cryogenic plant on this planet. Okay, so we then get that in. I don't know, something like that. And those settings get pasted across. You get the fusion generator recipe. Power line goes in. And now we just need to get the output, which I guess we can just output these over this way into passive provider chests. And both of these are going to have like 2 stacks worth probably. Let's see, 1 stack is 5 and rocket capacity is 5. So for these ones, a stack is 1 and capacity is 1. So that should be all good. That should be all good, and then we just need this. So we're over Vulcanus, we're getting our tungsten plates delivered. But that's 200. How many? This needs a lot, right? This needs 200 just for that. Okay, so you need your tungsten plate request to be much more in the realm of like 500. And you aren't going to leave while we actively have something being launched, so hopefully that's okay. You have enough tungsten carbide for that process. And and this is all going well. Okay, so then this one produces twice as fast as this, in theory. Now, I assume... Yeah, always gotta check, but no luck there. And this has a neighbor bonus, so that's going to be a whole process. And produces 4 plasma per second, which I assume the neighbor bonus will increase by a lot. Okay. And then the actual fluoroketone is preserved in this loop. So we turn 4 cold into 4 plasma. Then we convert 4 plasma back into 4 hot. And then cooling is 1-to-1. So that is all good. And then the thing that we need is the fusion power cells, which are holmium plates, lithium plates, and ammonia. So let's get started on crafting those. We have holmium plates, we have lithium plates, we've got ammonia in various places. So this is another cryogenic plant only recipe. So let's go and grab some more of those. Another 2. And you need blue circuits. Do we have blue circuits here? Yes, we do. So let's grab some of them and just set this up. Is there anywhere in here that we can put our box? Yes, there actually. Alright, so that will do a little bit to craft some more of those. We also need more refined concrete to throw also into this box, I think should work. To get more of these guys out. And that is that. Alright, but yeah, so now that we have all of that, we can place the ones that we have. So you get placed somewhere in here to make fusion power cells. So the ammonia goes in like that. And then the rest of the stuff goes in here. So this is holmium plates and lithium plates. And then the output can go up to here somewhere, I guess. And that heat pipe covers that. And then get another power line in. So you now have everything you need, but can we can 8x productivity module you, which is insane. And then we're gonna are you within range of these beacons? Yes, you are, which is making the efficiency a little better, but really what we want are some beacons over here to make speed better. So now your crafting speed is back up to a normal rate. You take a huge amount of power, but we have plenty of spare. Yeah, this one cryogenic plant is like our leading power input. Even with these 3, it's not that much to reduce the efficiency. But it's fine because we have plus 80% productivity and plus 14% speed. So this is going to make a whole bunch of these. And let's just keep like a decent but not incredible stockpile of them. So that is going. And then all of this is still waiting on it. So this is the one we're looking for. So you're going to stop at Fulgora, pick up some stuff, and then move on. And actually, theoretically, you might not have to pick up stuff at all. Like, you might just be fine because you have 380 of those. We only have 100 of those. Yeah, you might just be able to immediately turn to Aquilo. And we have tungsten plates, we have superconductors, we have quantum processors. So we have theoretically everything we need. It's just a matter of how long it may or may not take for it to get here. And then... okay, let's then figure out how this is going to work. So, let's go somewhere where we have space, which I guess just up this way, and enter this mode so that we can build stuff we don't have yet. Alright, so let's say we have a fusion reactor or two. And these guys should... let's see here. We should be able to do the same thing we do with the nuclear power plants, right? And just have like a grid like this. So, the cold fluoroketone flows along this way. The plasma comes out these sides. And, oh, we're going to need to heat all these pipes, aren't we? Although these... I don't know. Maybe it'll be nice and say that the incredibly hot plasma in them will heat them automatically. Alright, so all of this stuff... basically this is what we're looking at then. The plasma... we don't need to get the plasma out both sides, though. We only need to get the plasma out one side. So... we then have this pipe full of plasma, and we get fusion generators in here, which... okay, let's just assume for now that this does need to be heated annoyingly. And so we're going to have that in, and obviously that. And... then the fusion reactors themselves might need to be heated too, which could be awkward. Let's think. So the heat pipes... so this can like go underground and across to there. And then this can sort of like sneak in to the corners. Well, that goes underground to there. And this does remain stackable, in theory. So yeah, that should be fine then. And then on this side, we just need to run this heat pipe along. And we might as well even connect it up, so that this is all actually heated. So we have something like this. That's going to produce a pipe full of plasma at the cost of a pipe full of fluoroketone, which actually we need to get that pipe out of this. So we take that down. This has to loop across that way. And then that connects across. Alright, that's no problem at all. So now we have our plasma pipe. And okay, let's do the same thing up on this side, actually. So we take some of that room out. You go up like that. And then all of that loops back around. So now we have plasma up there, easily accessible. And those go into fusion generators, which actually tile with themselves quite nicely. Wait, these have like all sorts of weird inputs and outputs. Oh, I see. These only input and output in certain directions. That actually makes this super weird, huh? That actually makes this really weird to do. Alright, so I mean, the easy way would just be to have them not tile at all and just use a manually built pipe like this. So if we just have like this, then that works fine, in theory. And then that generates electricity directly, so we wouldn't need to worry about heat-related stuff for that. And then there's got to be like some intended way of aligning this plasma so that it works more nicely than this. Okay, so the outputs are on the sides and the inputs are on the corners like that. So what if we do like... No, because this... Doing something like this would block the other fluoroketone output, which we need. Now, we could do something cursed like this, but no, I think just this straight mode here is perfectly reasonable. And so that all connects across, and our heat pipes go in as well. And then we need to think about how we're getting... We need to think about how we're getting heat into all of these, actually. Assuming that they need it, which I think they do. Okay, Aquilo Support 2 just ran out of ammo again. Why is that? Your output full, your output full. Low power? Why are you low power? Okay, this system isn't working then. Oh. No, it is working. But the temperature isn't high enough yet, or no water. Okay, no input fluids. So, what is wrong with our input fluids? We've got tons of ice, but we've also got weird little... Oh, I see. Okay, so I see what's happened here. These need to be filtered to only output ice chunks. And then we need to just sort of get those out, and then we'll have water going through, and then it should all work again. Alright, so water is being produced again, which means that these should be producing steam. And this should all reboot, and we're going to need to make that fix on the rest of these guys as well. which, for whatever reason, are less in crisis, but still definitely need some help. So you go like that. You get that setting. Alright, so if we just push that forwards like so, then we should be all fine, I think. So Aquilo support 2 is still definitely struggling. So all the power is coming from solar panels, and it's mostly going to beacons. But we are still producing some water, so it looks like we should be scaling up. Okay, your output full, which means we have plenty of water. Oh, I see. Okay, so what actually happened is that this side connection never got made. And of course we need a little bit more. Alright, so that gets built across. Now this underground pipe should connect, provide power in, and we're good. Alright, mission solved. So now we just want you to just keep doing that for a little while longer until all those gross things are off the belt. Alright, now you're clear. So you never had that issue. Now let's just dismantle some of that stuff. And then dismantle some of that stuff. And it's all gone now. Alright, so that is cleared. And this one needs a bit more of this stuff cleared off the belts. Just so we don't get all these ice chunks in when we need them to be ice cubes. And there we go. Now we should be all set. No problems there. Okay. So that is problem solved. We did wind up crafting a fusion reactor. And that's good. Is this still crafting more, or is it item ingredient shortage? We need more of everything, basically. And this is making the fusion generators. Okay. So, what was I in the middle of? I was in the middle of setting this up. So we, in theory, need heat up to these. And hopefully they'll just be magical and not actually need it, but I suspect that they will. Okay, they are apparently magical and don't need heat. That is, like, the greatest news that we could have ever gotten. So, with that in mind, then we just need to collect up the fluoroketone, which we just need something like that. And that all gets merged up to there. Then we get a heat pipe through here, which will then connect up to something. Alright. So that can all go in. And it'll all get built up. Makes these fun little diamond patterns when it hasn't gotten around to placing the center bits. I don't know, there's one spot where it wants to use refined concrete instead of regular concrete that it hasn't quite figured out. I think it's this spot in here. Alright, so let's take you out. Why do you really need to be refined concrete specifically? think you might. That's weird. Alright. Anyways, that's sort of a future problem. So now we have this whole setup. And we get those heat pipes up to there, which should fix this whole thing. Actually, no, we do need those at the edges, so let's just have them everywhere. Alright, so then that would make the fluoroketone from the plasma and generate power in the process. Then we just need to cool this stuff back down, which is a cryogenic plant's job. And you just click on that. And there we go. I don't know what that guy is waiting for. Should be something that's going to get delivered soon, apparently. Yes, alright. It was waiting for the concrete. Alright, so then we get that temperature up there. And then this, we need to get that out for the output. And we leave the room for the input. That's wrong though. This needs to leave a space in between. So then the heat pipe runs through there. And then connects up to this way. So yeah, actually the heat pipe should be running like that, basically, and then occasionally dipping down to grab these. Alright. So that is more or less built up. And we still have plenty of space in here for power lines, so let's make sure to get those power lines in there. And then power lines actually along there to get the reactors. And then along there. Okay, so now we have to deal with the fact that I forgot that these guys require actual inputs. So we need to get actual fusion fuel cells into this, which is gonna be an issue. So that means that, well, it should be relatively straightforward for this row. So if we just take all that out, and apparently not those ones, apparently those were pre-existing important ones. So we need a... how do we do this? We have a belt which runs along this way and inserts into the reactors. Then we have the heat pipes which go across and occasionally pass through like that. Alright, so that is all good. And now we are, once again, some refined concrete short of what we're trying to set up here. So, Aquilo support. Off you go, bringing some resupplies. So, now this whole setup we've made, we need to have access to the resources up here, which for this second row, which is an issue, but should be manageable. So if we just take all of this and we cut you out and we just paste you up a little bit, I don't know, up there maybe for now. So we need first of all, we need the ability to get resources in and out of this. So this pipe can't run there because we need the inserter belts to go here. So you get inserters and you get belts. Then the plasma outputs go like that, and just for consistency, we're going to have those on the right half. And then they merge up over here. So now the heat pipe can sneak in this way and run along to here, but that's not quite gonna work because of this. Alright, yeah, so we need to take that out and push it up even another level. Alright, so then this is in like that. Now this pipe goes along there. Our heat pipe goes across that way and occasionally dips down into here to get all that connected up. And then we need it to also... Okay, so... Yeah, this works, right? Because you just need to go there, and then this one will cover this inserter, and then the next pipe. Alright. So, we have all that. That's all set up. Now, we just need to get this heat pipe connected up to there. And... Okay, at what point is having this be a whole separate... Having this be a whole separate pipe is completely pointless. So we can take that out and rearrange this stuff a little bit so that you connect into there. And then this goes around like that. Alright, so that is now all set up properly. So we put in... These don't generate waste, right? It doesn't say anything about that. There's no like depleted fusion waste or anything. Yeah, so that should be fine then. Okay, so we've got all that. And we need this to continue on a little bit further back, actually, because we just need this belt to get loaded in like this. So you get loaded in like that, and then we can work out how exactly we're getting everything into there later. Okay, then we have this whole setup up here. And by the way, how is this going? Still short on processors and plates. So we are getting more of them, but at only 500 of those per trip. And let's see, how many are we even requesting here? Okay, yeah, no, we need to make sure to request all of those and all of those so that we can get stuff built faster. Alright, so now this goes back here. We get our plasma through, and this needs to do the same thing where it loops around. So that is all set up again, and this doesn't need this extra space in here. It's not exactly a huge deal. It might leave us some room to do something in the future if we need to emergency fix something. Okay, so then this produces the power, and then we go up to this next row. So then the fluoroketone cooling. So step 1, get this connected into heat. And might as well be connected along like this, just in case. Okay, so this takes the fluoroketone and cools it down. And it needs power, but not much more than that. And then this is set up. Okay, so now the only things we need are we need to get rid of that random pipe. So we need to get the fluoroketone connected back down to here to form its loop. And then we need to actually get the raw resources in. Okay, so this then comes around like that. You're going to need to go forwards 1. So this can just bulldoze through that. And okay, we need to be a little bit cagey around that, because this needs to still go out. And then all of this stuff needs to be heated like that. No, not like that, because that defeats the point of this needing to go out. Although, I mean, we can just do that, right? So that connects across to there, which means that this doesn't need to go out like that at all. You can continue to follow the existing heat pipes, while this then goes out only to there. Okay, then we do need you to go underground a little bit so that we can get access to the heat pipes back there. Aquilo support is like 90% of the way here. Okay, that connects across. And that is good. So that's all we need for the fluoroketone looping. And then we just copy-paste this setup across if we need more of it. If we need more fluoroketone cooling, we copy-paste that. If we need more power, we copy-paste this. If we need more plasma, we copy-paste this. Alright, so yeah, one last step is getting the fuel in to both of these sides. So that just needs a splitter. One side goes there. The other side goes up there. And now we need... Okay, actually, it seems like this section isn't actually connected up to any temperature, so let's just pop that up to there so that this is actually heated instead of just sort of pretend heated. Okay. So now we just get this heating along here. And just like that. That should be all that we need. Okay, Aquilo support is here, so let's send some of that stuff down, because we probably need it. And let's send some more bots down as well. And some of this stuff, because I don't want to find out that we ran out of that stuff when we could have just not had that be a problem. Alright. So that's all in. Now, this stuff can get built up. And now it's just power pole time. You get a power pole, you get a power pole, and you get a power pole. And those guys have power poles, that one has power poles, these ones have power poles. Alright. So, I think if we just have requester chest, which we're not going to set because we don't want this to actually start doing anything just yet. But if we just get that in so that that's all warmed and power pulled. Alright, so now if we just set this to take in the fuel and we get all the rest of these guys built, then that will be our power plant. And you are on your way here with decent chunks of everything we need. So hopefully that can get built up and all working. And theoretically, we need like 2 of these in order for this to all fit in properly. We could make it work with just 1 if we adjusted it differently, but it would not be ideal. Alright, so yeah, let's just wait for those resources to show up. So yeah, if we had this one up here as our 1 reactor, then it would be able to do everything it needs to do. The rest of them rely on that one, so let's actually... Alright, so now that's been placed. We're gonna... So that now should be able to produce plasma. And does any of this matter? Oh, yeah. So this should all be fine. All of these should be able to access and output their stuff independently. So... Oh, there's one more thing. One more tiny little detail which we do need to do, which is we need to get the actual fluoroketone in here to start with. So you are going to be... Actually, the barreled stuff that we have, is that hot or cold? We have barrels of hot fluoroketone, which goes in here. Alright, I don't know why I'm having the Spidertron here to do this. Alright, so that goes in like that. You are going to be emptying barrels of hot fluoroketone. And then let's get this. And this is very much just a temporary setup. So that is all built in. And let's get a power line in there as well, because why not? And then once the heat pipes get placed... Okay, this batch of machines up here isn't actually connected down to the power grid. There we go. So let's just do that so that those are connected up. That gave me a bit of a heart attack. Okay, so now these are all powered up like normal. And we simply... I mean, we can just dump these in manually, right? So let's just grab a couple stacks of those, and we shouldn't need that many barrels. So there we go. This is not supposed to be an inserter, that's supposed to just be a pipe. Okay, so that has us going and cooling down fluoroketone. That's 4 per second. Each one of these individually takes 4 per second. So that is going to need to be a lot faster. But for now at least, we can set that and get the fuel going. And this should give us 50 megawatts, which is fine. Nothing exceptional, but fine. Okay, this is set up wrong. Wonderful. So you need to be outputting to a belt, which then goes into the splitter so that this all works. Alright, so that is set. Now, we get some up here, and this should last for ages, probably. So that... So now our plasma output is full. And yet... So your output full, and yet this isn't doing anything. Is there, like, some trick that I'm missing here? Can the plasma not go in pipes? Is plasma like a whole separate thing? Let's see. Is there any recipes in here? No. Fluids. Plasma is not a normal fluid and cannot be moved in okay, well, that would have been good to know. That would have been good to know before I designed this whole system. And yeah. So we just need to redesign, like, everything from this point up then. And we need to... Okay, this is going to be hard because we're going to need to figure out then how to get the fuel into this. Alright, so you get dismantled. Okay, so the plasma, we need to get the plasma out somehow. So we start by going into this mode so that we don't have to have a Spidertron nearby. So step 1 is dismantle all of this area up here. So this is ultimately going to be... Okay, also if we take that back, these don't freeze. So that is handy. So we can rely on that a little bit in the future, but we need to then get the fusion generator directly next to the reactor. So this, let's see, the only plasma inputs are at the back. So this is going to have to be something like this to start with. And then the next one, how do we do this? So the next one can go in there, like that maybe. And let's dismantle that whole portion because it's wrong. And try to figure out what we're doing here. So we do need to connect this up directly. Now, the next one, if we do something like this, that technically works, I think. Just flowing diagonally out, although then we need to get the heat pipes out, which isn't going to work. Okay, so the added necessity on Aquilo of the heat pipes makes this a lot more challenging. Because we need to get heat pipes in. We don't need to get it in for the generators themselves, because they don't freeze. But we need to get it in for the fluoroketone, which is annoying. So, is there some other way? So this way would work on like other planets, right? So we just do something like that and then it's fine. Or something like that and then it's fine. And that's obviously not an option here because we need the heat pipes. We need the heat pipes to get into the things here. So, let's see here. How is this going to work? So we need more space. Oh, if we just do this. No, because these are only... The only input side is... So if these were just input outputs, it would be great. And let's see here. Flipping them doesn't really... I mean, they're symmetrical aside from the top-bottom thing, so like rotating them is the only thing that makes a difference, really. Alright, so what if we do it like this? Does this leave enough space? So you stagger like that, you stagger like that. Then we can run these pipes out there, get their heat pipes in like that, and then we're good. And then this would, however, require like... So we would also have to think about how we're getting the inputs in, which shouldn't be too hard. So we already have heat pipes in that area, so that's not a concern. So this would just go like that, and then input into there, and then back underground, input into there. Then the heat comes through, and this would actually be able to just go all the way out to there, like so. And then this heat would come down to there. And then this one would also have something going down past it, like this. Okay, so this is all an option, basically. This all functions. If we get that in. So this is now producing power. It has access to plasma. And it's then getting the fluoroketone through to there. It's hardly using any at the moment because we just don't need that much. And then we can merge that up there somewhere. Now, did we ever get more of these guys crafted? Apparently not. How did that happen? Surely there's... It must have. It doesn't make any sense that this hasn't done anything at all. So why... I mean, we delivered hundreds of those, right? It should be 200. Did not enough of them get dropped off? Yeah, not enough of them got dropped off. Dang it, that's annoying. Okay, so you need to... I mean, you just sort of need to wait longer, I guess. Alright, but that's fine. We can deal with that once it comes back around. So in the meantime, we then just need to figure out how far back these lines go, because the neighbor bonuses. So you don't have neighbor bonuses listed while you're just sitting here, which is interesting. So how does that work out? So when we look in here, it says neighbor bonus of 100%. And the nuclear reactors also are neighbor bonus of 100%. So I would assume it's the same thing where each one doubles. So this says it's producing 4 plasma per second, but once we get it in, it's actually going to produce like way more than that. So the problem is the ratios are all funky. So I don't want this. I actually don't like this system because it relies on having the right number of generators per reactor as opposed to just having like a system of generators that is just expandable and nice. So what's this? That cryogenic plant making this stuff has turned off recently, so that's why the power demand dropped off like that. So what I want then is just some sort of arbitrary way of scaling the number of fusion generators up. But we still need each of these to be connected into it. So what we need is a way of like connecting these two lines together. All right, let's just go somewhere where we don't have to worry about space concerns. Just like out here, where we're just gonna mess around with ways of putting fusion reactors together. So if we just do like this and this, and so let's see, the starting point we have is 1, 2, 3 blocks of distance, but we can between two starting points, and we can fix that if we need to, but 1, 2, 3 blocks, and then that one. So we have this. Then we need to connect these up, and the only inputs are the sides. So, okay, what if we spread them apart at first to get more distance? So these fluoroketone pipes can then go like through like this, for example. And that works in theory. Now, if we want to expand this, we can just... Can we just continue this loop like this? And... Okay, the heating is going to be a concern again. But what I want is to be able to get this... I want to be able to just sort of like oscillate back and forth like this indefinitely. So if we can do something like this, that would be fantastic. So all of the internal pipes are going to be looping back down to the previous row. But doing it like this is awkward because now how do we get heat exchangers in here? Or not heat exchangers, but heat pipes. So what if we have this go down like that? Then this has... No, it doesn't have enough room to go across one. Okay, but what if we do something even more crazy? What if we do like that across to there? And then that doesn't leave us... That doesn't leave us any room for heat pipes, no. So that's not going to be it. So that isn't going to be the solution. Now, what do we do? Oh, if we can No, well, we need to get the heat pipes into this internal region. What if we just have the gap be bigger to start with? So we go one more out, like that. And then from here, we do this. So this is the furthest in point. So these two here, they can just merge up like that, and instead of it being central, it has to be slightly off-centered so that that lines up. So this also doesn't quite work, but I just got to do that instead. So now we get heat pipes in this whole system in here. So we can do something like this. And then these can extend out to there and get all of that heated up, and then still leave room for the next one. So, okay, so then the next row goes up like that, and I don't know, in somehow. But we definitely have enough room for all of this to work out. So if we do this, it can just sort of oscillate back and forth between these two layers indefinitely, I think, right? Because then the next one also just loops back around this way, and it can still be heated up. And oh wait, is this actually simpler? Because if we can make this simpler, then that would be great. So if these two rows don't necessarily need to connect, okay, let's just think about that. Although we want them to be connected, but they're connected back here, right? So ideally these don't connect up constantly, because that just makes it more complicated. So if we just take like all of this stuff out, now here we have this pipe loops back down to there. So these two fluoroketone pipes are connected up in this area, and if we can get a heat pipe through this first row, then we're good. And that's going to be the tricky part, where we're going to need to go underground. So you go like that. And so now all the fluoroketone is connected up, but okay, we want the fluoroketone and the heat pipes to come through this central channel here, which does mean that, yeah, this needs to be the narrowest point, I think. So instead, we get you connected up out there. Then we get heat pipe runs up through the center somehow, however, not really a concern. These are connected up, which means that our fluoroketone pipe can come out there and function just fine. Okay, so that is in. And I guess just for the sake of getting it, we can make this heat pipe build out properly. So this goes like this, all the way up to there. And then it also goes like this, and then loops around like this all the way up to there. Wait, no, because we need to get the pipes in on this side. So this connects down, comes around to there, and in like that. And then our heat pipes correspondingly cross through like that. Alright, so this is all we would need to get a sort of indefinitely scaling system. So this would just alternate back and forth like this forever, and then let's get all of those extra things out. And I guess to get a drone port in this area, although we don't really need to actually build any of this, so let's not do that. This is just a testing area. And then we can also fit power lines in here. Alright, so then the outputs are likewise. Let's just confirm again that these guys here, they can be just fine without any heat pipes of any sort. So everything they connect into needs heat pipes. They themselves don't. So that is good. It means that we can just run then the outer row of this. Actually, we don't need to use both floor ketone outputs, right? We can just do it like this and it's fine and more compact. Right? So yeah, that should be okay. So the floor ketone comes out, no problem. The heat goes in, no problem. Now, all we need to do is get some sort of system to convert a theoretically long row like this into something like this, which just stacks backwards. Now, we need enough room that this pipe can do something, because this side is where all of that stuff needs to happen. But we're just getting a delivery. Oh, the Aquilo quantum support is here. So you've delivered all of the tungsten plates and all of the quantum computers. So that should leave us good to go to produce more of these guys. And they can't be productivity moduled, but they can get their supplies. So that should be very nice. Alright, now back up to this. So we need these to connect in to, let's see, this and this would, so they would connect in properly. However, each of these rows would be independent, which I guess is fine, but it's kind of awkward for this system here where we want everything to be scaling to the left. Like, what I want is to be able to get all of these connected up and then heading over that way. Although maybe this is fine as is, right? So each of these can have at most 3 neighbors, right? So that's one there, one there, one there. And then it has to have the output up there so that that's the most it can possibly be. And they're 2 wide. So, theoretically, this would be... Actually, we can just figure that out based on novice nuclear plants. So this has a neighbor bonus of 300%. So it's base 40 output 160. So that's 4 times, and then there's 2 of them. So it's going to be 8 times the output of a single machine. And a single machine outputs 4 plasma, which each of these take 2 of. So theoretically, these rows need to be 16 fusion generators long in order to use all of the demand. Now, the first couple are going to be less than that, obviously, because this one, for example... Okay. Can we just get those placed in the right locations? Alright, so yeah, now we're going to have 2 of these side by side, which will allow us to get some calculations in for where exactly they all need to go. And apparently we are building more fusion generators as we speak, so that's cool. Alright, so this... It should... Let's see, the fluoroketone goes through... Oh, we need to heat all this up just for science. So that's all heated up. This is set up to function, and you need power lines. And then we need to put our fuel rods back in. Where are those? Here they are. Power cells, not fuel rods, technically. Okay, so now that is built. And this one is already running. Then we can add on another one once the fuel cells start showing up. So I just want to see the neighbor bonus and confirm that it works the way that I think it does. So there we go. Now you are doing nothing. You aren't getting any fluoroketone because that's empty because this thing up here got disconnected somehow. Okay, does this whole system successfully loop back? No, it doesn't. Alright, so let's start by getting this system rebuilt to be functional. So we need that to go out, then this just goes across there. And so that can be recycling the fluoroketone. Then, do we have more barrels? Not currently. Alright, we have 3 of the 4 of these guys in. The target temperature... Oh, wait, is this different than I think it is? Back to the Factoripedia. So, what do you have to say about plasma? The temperature of plasma determines its energy value. A quantity of plasma also represents that amount of coolant that travels with it. Heated coolant is output. Fusion. Okay, so... Yeah, so... The neighbor bonus goes to the temperature of the plasma, not the quantity of the plasma. Now, does that still... Power production... Less plasma is consumed if the temperature is higher. It output... So, okay, so we do end up... It winds up working out the same, basically. So, we do end up needing more per thing. So, let's keep the unbarreling going, because we apparently are going to need more of that in order to get anything done here. Alright, so now that is hopefully enough. Now this one machine, let's get you going super fast so that all of these can run. So you're working, you are output full because you don't have access to a fusion generator. Because the other ones that have built are all up here for some reason. Okay. So, I mean, the end of the story is that we need more generators in order to get this all satisfied. So let's start by blueprinting this and calling it Fusion Generator Stack, just so that we have it. And then let's also confirm that, okay, technically we need it to work slightly differently, but it should be fine. Now, what we need is to get this converted down to here. Alright, so we have that blueprinted, so we can tear it down and replace it later if we need to. So now we have 2 of these running. Their target temperature is pretty low because the neighbor bonus isn't functioning properly. But they are certainly now producing power. So that's all doing its thing. And this one has 2 of them, whereas this one only has 1. Now, yes, the neighbor bonus is super inconsistent while they aren't functioning at full speed, which is annoying, but we did see that it was at twice the temperature there. So this machine is doing its thing. These ones are all doing their thing. So we need way more turbines, first of all. And we need a way of connecting the turbine stack into the generator stack. That is like the main puzzle that we need to solve at this point. So let's go up to our testing area, and we have 2 of those. No, they need to be adjacent. And then we have our... Can I just open the blueprint thing, pop that into there? Okay, so if we just like do this, it actually... I could have sworn this aligned properly, but it clearly does not. Okay, so if that doesn't line up correctly, then that is gonna cause problems, which means that, I mean, it shouldn't be hard to make it line up better, right? So we just place that down. But actually, no, because the space demand here, this takes up too much space. So it's as wide there, and it's 1 wider over there. So we need to shift this in a bit, which shouldn't be impossible. So if we just grab that half, pop you into there. Now, this works, but this works with an asterisk, and the asterisk is that our 2 fluoroketone pipes are separated now. And we also, again, have this thing of individual rows of generators per reactor, which I'm starting to think that's just fine. Like, it's kind of annoying, but it's not that bad, really. Because we can work out what the maximum value is, and it'll never need to scale beyond that. So this is doing its thing. Oh, wait, no. The other problem that we need to solve is how to get these belts in. So we need to get the belts in, too. Which is also going to take up space in here. So, I mean, this might work, it might not. And it's not going to. So, it's so close. Oh. But these pipes here don't need to go back that far. So those pipes there can go back like that. And then this just isn't an issue at all. So this fuels the reactors in like that. And just for the sake of this being consistent and tileable, these have a gap. And this one has a gap like that. Okay, wait. Is this wrong? Yes, this is wrong, because these two aren't identical. So, we need to make them identical. So we need to grab this, get you into there. And the heat pipes still fit. The heat pipes still fit. They wrap around like that. And then... Okay, so then the fluoroketone pipes, they go out and up like this, sort of looping around back and forth. Now, let's see here. I need to get the Spidertron out of here and do this in this mode so I can just place stuff and not worry about whether I actually have it or not. So this continues to extend out like that, and it's kind of incredibly annoying how long these are going to be. Which once again really makes me want to find out some way of just getting this to be an entire separate block instead of this. Because if what I want to do would be like turn the whole thing sideways almost and just have our row of generators just go off in a direction. Because this is so long. This is so insanely long. And this is only, what, 5 back? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is ridiculous. I wish they just generated more power if they had more heat, so that I didn't have to do all this. Because let's see here, these ones here, they're. I mean, the problem is these aren't even running at full speed, so I can't even see. Okay, so let's say we just start with 4, and each of these is 2 plasma per second. I don't know, maybe the higher quality fusion generators is the way. But then, at that point, we'd also be doing higher quality fusion reactors, and it wouldn't be any better, actually. It would just be the same. Okay, so we have this. 4, 5, 6, 7. And then this would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this would deal with all the outputs of one maxed out fusion reactor. Which... The thing that's screaming to me is that this is all extreme overkill, and I don't need to think this hard about it. Like, each of these is 50 megawatts, right? How much power does Novice have? 3.4 gigawatts of production. I mean, so it's using 600 megawatts. Vulcanus is using 80 megawatts. Gleba using 70. Fulgora is using like 20. So surely this is just completely unnecessary to begin with. Like, what sort of power demands? I guess we could wind up with insane over-the-top power demands. It's not impossible, which is the problem. Start with a 1 design and expand from there. Yeah, I mean, the problem is making it expandable. Making it expandable is the issue. Because we need to, like, leave space to have enough fusion generators attached if we need to. And the fluoroketone has to have designated pipes. So we have to have some sort of system for that. And they need to be heated. Alright, I'm going to go back to trying to figure out how to just have a block of fusion generators that just connects a row to this. Because if we can have, like... Yeah, that's what I need to do. I need some way of just, like, taking these and then connecting them up and then, like, rotating them so that we can get something like that. So the amount of space here is like this much space is what we're working with. Right? So then we need to... These ones don't even need to... Theoretically, we can just use fusion generators as convoluted pipes, right? Like, the first ones in the chain don't actually need to work. They just need to have the plasma pass through. Alright. Can I test if that functions? So... this one back here, we need you to connect up like that. So, okay, if you aren't connected to anything, but you are, and then these pipes need to let us get some stuff out like that. Alright, so this one can't output its fluoroketone, but this one can. So what happens there? We need this to like fill up though, which is gonna take a while. But what I want to have happen is that it just continues passing the plasma along harmlessly, and we can just go from there. If that is the case, then it'll be great. If that is the case, then that would be cool. And I'm just going to design this assuming that that's the case, and then be sad if it doesn't work. So, we have this whole row here, taking from the generators. Then we need to... What do we even need to do here? We need to rotate it in a, like, repeatable way. So, like, just doing something like this doesn't work because we need the space in for this to fit. This would be so much easier if you could just move plasma in pipes. Okay. So what other variants of spacing do we have? Because we can pick from a couple if we need to. But this is like the default spacing where they're connected to the same side for consistency. So if we just compress them in like that. No, I need to figure out how to even theoretically get, like, a turn in. So you output this way, right? Then you go one further and then output this way, and then that would cause problems because we have now this has to keep getting wider as we go. So we need to somehow then compress this in so that this uses, so that this can output into this one, for example. Okay, so we need this. It feels like it should be possible, but I can't. There's no way of like getting different variants of this with different configurations of outputs. That would be much too convenient. Okay, that's just... the things that are missing are just the same things that have always been missing. So... How on earth does this work? Okay, maybe we just use, like, multiple... If we can just get 2 rows of this in one thing, that would also be, like, a semi-reasonable alternative. So if you're in here, and you're in here, then is this enough room for the pipes? Okay, so these can go up here. I mean, technically, but now this... Wait, is this fine, actually? Yes, this does... No, this definitely doesn't work, because that needs to go out as far as possible, which that can't do. Alright. My brain is not working here. It feels like it should be possible, right? We have the ability to make turns in these, but we don't have the ability to, like, continually keep the turns running. So what we need to get to is, we need to get from here, like, we need to get from something like this up to something like this, because then this can just expand out as much as it wants. So you... I mean, that's... Let's see here. If you're like that, just give us the most space physically possible. Then... No, that doesn't work. These are, like, deceptively, incredibly awkward to deal with. There's gotta be some sort of trick to it. Maybe the reactors themselves? No, that's definitely not a thing, right? That's definitely not helpful. I mean, maybe... Okay, maybe this is the trick? If we can, like, stack them like this, then... I mean, we would have something like this, and then... some giant pyramid, and then up here we have all the plasma in one place. That, I mean, is very silly. I don't know if these get the neighbor bonuses because they're offset, but it would be real funny if it worked. I mean, if them being offset like that doesn't hurt the neighbor bonuses, that would be real cool. So let's... Do we even have enough to try? We have 3, right? Alright, so yeah, let's dismantle all of those and try... If you go here instead... So you're there. Then we need to get this all set back up slightly differently. So you go like that. And... Okay, we need to get the Spidertron down there for the building. Oh, no, apparently we're just out of inserters. Wonderful. Do you have any? Of course not. Well, that's annoying. Oh wait, no, it did show up. It showed up eventually. You'll have to see it. Alright. You go back to Novice. We have 12 inserters, apparently. Potentially some more in a box somewhere. Alright, so you are getting your neighbor bonus. Wait, but that just means... Surely that just means that the numbers of machines that can be adjacent is just even higher, right? So if... Because if we have... That one's not aligned properly. If we have them staggered like this, then... Alright. That just makes the problem worse somehow. That... I mean... It makes them more efficient. We're going to be producing so much high temperature plasma. But the neighbor bonuses are just ridiculous at this point, if they're offset like this. So, okay. Now, all of these 4 can reach down to these. If we can, like, do some cursed stuff with the generators down here to get these attached across, like... No, not quite. No, of course not. Why would that ever work? Okay, well, we've discovered how to make this even more efficient, which is sort of makes this even more urgent, really. Okay. Let's see here. We need to connect these up, and we can do this. Now, I wonder if some combination of the two can work out more. Like, so if we have... No, that's not going to be a thing ever. Right? So if we just have something like this, and then a fusion reactor there, and then, like, this one connects like this somehow. I don't know. That seems extremely counterproductive, but who knows? I mean... Okay. The nice thing about these is that they have more flexible throughput, but that's... Alright, I feel like the solution is just not worry about efficiency so much. Like, if we just have these ones in... How is this lined up? You are lined up like that, and like that. And then we just do that to get that in. So this works. And the cartoonishly long stacks of generators aside, I mean, it doesn't break anything, right? If we're just inefficiently using that, then it's fine, probably. So that produces our power. We have our cartoonishly long stacks of generators, and then we have these pipes which run along and connect into all of those. Then these pipes run along and connect into all of these. Like that. And then our heat pipe runs all the way up through that. And okay, right. It can technically make those little O-shaped things in all of these areas. So then this, we just sort of continue going along. And I feel like I've broken the symmetry somehow. Did we go out 2 in a row? Yeah, we went out 2 in a row up here. And that is a problem because these need to fit in correctly. So let's dismantle planar all of that. And we can just like copy this whole section in. And it's fine. I mean, we don't have enough fusion generators to actually do this like to any meaningful extent. So, but at least we have what, 4 reactors now? Okay, so let's cool it on the reactors, I think. Although, yeah, 4 reactors should be fine for... I mean, it'll certainly be fine for now. We just want to craft the generators to catch up, because we've been doing a whole lot less crafting of those. And let's see here. If this isn't going to be producing power at massive scale, let's just cut all this out. We don't really need it. So this here, this is 150. So this is 300. Let's just build it up to 400, I guess. Just a nice even number, and I think a more convenient ratio of the output. So this goes out like that. Connects all those in. And it could continue to scale up if we needed it to, but we don't. And then we need to... Okay, we need to actually connect all of the fluoroketone out. So that's going to be easiest. We can just do that to connect these 2 rows. And then... Okay. These ones also need their heat pipes. Now, we need... How do we have so much space in here? Oh, because there's no heat pipes. There's no pipes in them. So we need space to connect these pipes out and across. Or we just need to get the fluoroketone out some ways. I don't want to mess with anything up there because we might scale up that direction. Now if these pipes here... If we can just get something out of this, then that would be great. Okay, so what do we need? We need, like, a pipe that goes like this to just skip across to the outside. But then we need it to somehow get into here. How's that gonna work? So we need... Oh, we can do this down here maybe? So this area here... Wait, no, because we need... These are the inserters for the fuel cells. Now, if we get those pipes there, that won't work, and these need to actually be... Okay, this one was correct, this one wasn't. So that we can connect that heat pipe down. Okay, what if we have this heat pipe zigzag around that way? Then this can go underground like that. Okay, but then we need it to connect into this somehow, which isn't exactly looking plausible. Okay, now if we disconnect those two, so now these are just two separate pipes, then this one can... No, we need to get them, like, down past... I don't think this works at all, actually. I think we need to either go wider, which breaks the system, or start from... Or just exit higher up, which prevents us from scaling in this way. Which is, again, probably fine. Like, if we need to scale, we just add more sideways, and each one doesn't run as much, but I don't think it impacts efficiency at all. We'll just have more reactors and fewer... We'll just have more reactors than we need per generator, but the overall efficiency would be fine. There's some trick. There's some trick to getting this to work, which I'm just not thinking of, and it's frustrating me a lot. It's real frustrating. The fact that these have to zigzag makes them so much more complicated. Maybe, let's see, how much space? We do have, technically, like one more tile of space to work with over this way, but I don't think we can use it. I don't think we can use it is the problem. Alright, I've been staring at this for ages. These guys down here are still running, right? I mean, they have plenty of plasma. And they are technically the single biggest source of power now. So that's cool. Good for them. And I mean, we don't need this to be zigzagged. You can be flat like that. And it shouldn't make a difference. All these should still line up properly. But then if we dismantle you, then we can have all four in. Actually, technically there's no reason... It's technically optimal to zigzag, right? Yeah, it is. But that's fine. This is just a temporary setup here. And it is working, right? We've got plenty of everything. Actually, this heat up here got disconnected at some point. So let's reconnect all of that, because this stuff has frozen and broken it a little bit. But yeah, these two are output full. They've got plenty of fluoroketone. And this guy up here doesn't have any fluid ingredients, which it'll gradually get over time. Alright, I just want them to build that one so that we can have all of the neighbors in. And there we go. Maybe check Factorio. Any other instructions? Neighbor bonus with other fusion reactors greatly increase the plasma temperature without increasing the amount of coolant used. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, you can recycle these. I was like, what is that? That's just a recycler, which we don't want to do because these things are insanely expensive. Any tip here can be linked and transfer plasma to each other, but not in like a useful way though, because the way that they point everything is very inconvenient. Okay. I'm just gonna spend a little while longer seeing if I can get a breakthrough here. I don't know why you haven't built that one, since we definitely have the extra reactor for it. And we're mostly short on tungsten plates, so can we get you to go up to like 2,000 of those? Just so that we definitely have as much as we can physically bring over. That's fine. Okay, so back to staring at this. We need to somehow get more of these in a smaller space, basically. So how much room do we absolutely need between them? If we get that and the heat pipe that goes along with it, then the fact that these have to connect directly across makes them like extremely difficult to work with. What's that loss? Just a laser turret on Novice, nothing to worry about. Okay, well, so if we do something like this, then that is even more compact. Not that I think it really matters. Okay, so this lets us feed 4 off of a single thing, and then we can just... No, we can't. This doesn't work. Well, anyways, that area in there isn't necessary. Can you... If you crunch in like this, then you have nowhere to output the fluoroketones, so that's no good. So you need to go out like that, basically. And then we take technically this, but one more of those, and we don't have enough to do anything with the fluoroketone. So this is 4 out of a single machine that's very compact. And if we then get you in like that, then you can only handle 3 because you're out of space. There's like some weird combination of these that probably uses like the side outputs that is super useful. Okay, so what if we just try to immediately use the side outputs? I feel like I'm just running in circles and discovering the reasons why I didn't do this last time every single time I try this, but like if we go like this and we just have that chaining off that way, then we can't get this one into that because all of its outputs are up there. But if we have another one over here, then you go up like that. Oh, that's so close. Come on. We can't do this because the inputs would never line up properly for those to work. because we would need it to overlap in order to fit in there. Which means that is no good. It's so annoyingly, frustratingly close to working, though, that, like, there's gotta be some way of doing this. Alright, I need to stop driving myself mad staring at these annoying shapes over and over again. I think this is as good a time to wrap up as any. I will spend more time thinking about these over the next couple days and then figure out how to do this. So, we did wind up getting our fusion power going to a limited extent because we don't really need it, but we have demonstrated that we can pass things through, which is very valuable information potentially. So yeah, that's about it. We're going to wrap up there. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I will be doing Satisfactory tomorrow and Factorio again on Wednesday, so make sure to stop by then. And that'll be that. Thanks everyone for hanging out. And make sure to follow if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.